guys, I'm Bridget.
And I'm Liz.
And we're the Twinchesters.
And this is our monthly book review segment called Epilogues. And the book we're reviewing today was our October book club book of the month, which was Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. And it's a memoir about her 2 years spent in a mental institution in Massachusetts.
All right, Liz, what were your likes about the book?
What I really like about the book is not only does she focus on herself, she gives a little bit into all the patients that she spent time with. So it makes it feel a little bit more relatable because you're not just focusing on the author. Like, not everybody might necessarily identify with the author. They might identify with somebody else that was with her. So I really liked that.
Yeah, I like that she pretty much talked about it like straightforward. She's like, yes, I'm in a mental institution. Yes, there's something that happened to me that made me go into the mental institution. And yes, it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person, doesn't mean we're bad people. It's just these are our stories. Here, take these people and we'll dive into them more.
Right.
You know?
She definitely...
If I saw any of the characters on the street, like any of these people on the street, your automatic instinct is, oh, they just came out of a mental institution. You have that stigma attached to it.
Right, and
she humanized them.
Exactly. She did talk about how for patients that were in the process of being released, how incredibly difficult it was for them just to find the simplest of jobs because people automatically like, oh, you were in a mental institution, you must be insane. I don't want to.
Especially because this was written about the 60s.
Right.
And it was a completely different stigma. Most people, like, she was just depressed and she attempted to commit suicide and she was put in a mental institution with people who had schizophrenia, who had manic bipolar. She was put in with these more extreme cases because they didn't know how to handle anybody that, like, you know, was different. You know, like now there's more of like there's like the extreme cases and there's more of like the mild cases.
Mm-hmm.
Like depression and suicidal thoughts is more of the mild compared to like schizophrenic and like in the hospital wise at least. Like this is everybody was clumped together and when somebody saw on the resume, oh, you were at a mental institution, they automatically thought that she was schizophrenic or she was crazy or something along those lines.
What I found interesting was how, based off of like one conversation that she had with the doctor that saw her, he automatically was like, you're going into a mental institution, and he told her it was for a few weeks, and she wound up being there for actually 2 years. And it was never really fully explained to her what her diagnosis was. She really didn't know what was going on, and then I believe it mentions how she had to fight and petition to get her personal records released to her so she could write this book.
Yes, I thought it was interesting the way that was written because it really sees the mentality of what she was during that time, because she honestly thought she walked in, she talked to the guy for 20 minutes, and boom, he sent her off to the hospital. But in reality, he sat there with her for 3 hours, talking to her and going through it, and it just shows what kind of mental state she was in at the time. And she wrote as if she was still in that mental state, which I really liked. I liked that she still wrote it as she would if she wrote it in the 60s. Like, she still has the same mentality she did while she was in the hospital. She wrote with the same type of, like, the same way. Like, the way she was thinking in the hospital is the way she wrote the book.
Right.
Like, it's not like she wrote it from an outside perspective saying, oh, this is what I thought. No, she wrote it as if this was happening to her right then and there.
Right. It was very honest. Like, she didn't try to sugarcoat anything or make it seem like it was no big deal. Like, it was just very truthful, and very open.
She also didn't write it to end the stigma on mental health issues. She didn't go into this saying, I'm going to write this book and people are going to think differently. No, she wrote this book. She's like, this is what actually happened in the hospital. This is what happened with me and the girls.
Right.
You take what you want to take out of that.
Right.
She's not like, you know, like ending the stigma. She was like, no, this is what happened. I want to talk about it.
Right. She wasn't writing it to try to prove anything or disprove anything or, you know, make waves in the, like, the psychological community or anything. She just, like, maybe it was a cathartic experience for her. It was something she needed to talk about, and she is actually a writer. She has other books besides just this one. And now that I'm saying that, when she was in the process of being released, she was speaking with a social worker about work and what she wanted to do after she moved on from the hospital. And she said right away, she's like, I want to be a writer. And the social worker, well, no, you can't do that. That's not, you can't do that. That's not a job.
Well, it was also, a different time, along the fact that she was a mental patient, she was
Right.
also a woman in the 60s.
Right.
And their primary role at that time was just leading towards secretaries.
Pretty
Like,
much.
they were just hitting the secretary market.
Right. And another thing that I really enjoyed was the more self-aware patients that were with Susanna, when they would go on trips outside of the hospital, I found it really amusing that they would actually mess with the nurses and the other people around them.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that, like, they talk about
They're
this.
like, hey, you want to think I'm crazy? I'm going to show you crazy.
Right. And, there's one point where they actually, like, they go for ice cream, and it's about maybe like 15 of them, and they go into the ice cream parlor, and they just decide they're gonna mess with everybody, and it's pretty funny.
All right, who was your favorite character? Well, person, they're not really characters.
My favorite person.
I just really liked Susanna, the author. I really liked
Right.
because you kept forgetting she was so young. She was only 18.
She was only 18.
You kept forgetting that she was so young while she was writing this. So every time, you would read through, you're like, oh my god, yeah, you're only 18, oh my god, this
Yeah.
is how a teenager should be reacting. Like, she was having normal teenage tendencies,
And that's
but yet
something she
sitting
struggled
there,
with.
but yet she was sitting there in a mental hospital because of stuff that a lot of teenagers go through.
Right, that was actually something that she struggled with. She didn't really know quite why she was in a mental hospital, because that's exactly that. She says, she's like, but doesn't everybody my age go through something like this? Like, how are they deeming it something beyond the norm? And that was interesting. I liked Lisa, and I might just be saying that because there is a movie adaptation starring Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie, which I actually saw before I read the book, and I know that's blasphemy, guys, I'm sorry, but I watched the movie without even knowing that there was a book that it was based off of, and Angelina Jolie's portrayal of Lisa, I just thought
Angelina
was...
Jolie is Lisa.
She's Lisa,
I haven't seen
and
the movie yet.
so I'm kind of biased towards movie
She
Lisa.
also was a great character. She was honest.
Right.
She was just blunt.
Yeah,
She was pretty much like, I'm here, I want a cigarette, get used to it.
Yeah, she did kind of have the run of the place. She was definitely, the head honcho out of the group of individuals that Susanna spent time with.
What did you think about the actual documents in the book? Like her actual doctor documents, like when she first got into the hospital, right there on the next page is her actual full document.
Right. I feel like it's so interesting because you're getting Susanna's first-hand account of what she was feeling and what she was thinking, and then boom, you have the doctor's paperwork on her and all her files, and it's kind of total opposites.
Yeah, when I first read it, I was like, okay, she was in there for 20 minutes, this doctor's a lunatic. And then when you look at the documents, you're
Right.
like, she was in there for 3 hours and she talked of depressive episodes and suicidal thoughts and all this stuff that she never touched on because she didn't realize she was doing it.
Right. She didn't know. She just thought it was...
Though my biggest
normal.
dislike of the entire books, I wish I can read them. The documents, they're so tiny.
Yes.
I wanted to read more into what was actually happening to her because doctors don't have the greatest handwriting.
No.
So
No, some of them were a little bit difficult to read because it's very, very tiny print. Ones that were actually typed up, and then there's copies of ones that are handwritten, which
yeah.
are even more
Those
difficult
are
to
definitely
read.
difficult to read.
Those are
That's what I
definitely more
wanted to
difficult
know.
to read.
That's probably my biggest dislike of the book. And the fact that it kind of jumps around. There's no exact plot.
Right, there's no steady timeline because she'll be talking about characters here, and then in the next section, it's those characters haven't even gotten to the hospital.
Yeah, because
yet.
I when I picked this up, I thought it was a story about, say, a year of her time in there. If they put on the cover short stories, I would have been more prepared. Because each
Right.
chapter is a short story. Each chapter is a story of, like, say, a week at the hospital. Or the next chapter is about Lisa, just about Lisa. And like that, if I knew that going into it, I probably would have been a little more comfortable with it. Because I have read books like that where it's short stories.
Right.
And
yeah,
it flowed really nice, even though it was short stories. Like the flow into each chapter was really good. I liked it.
But you did have to take a moment and be
You
like,
had to take
okay.
a moment and figure out what was going on. That's the main thing I didn't like. How many stars do you give it out of 5?
I give it a 4. 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I give it like a 3.54 out of 5. I think
Yeah.
it was not the best book I've read, this year, but it was
pretty good,
definitely
solid
it was a really
read.
good read.
Very good read. Okay,
Let's see.
and just to refresh, the book was Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen.
All right, and our next November book club book is Horns by Joe Hill, and that's very exciting. Don't watch the Daniel Radcliffe movie until you read the book,
Yes.
please. We have abstained from that.
Yes, we have put watching that off pretty
for
much
a long time
since the movie
until we
came
got
out.
this book.
Okay guys, so this is a special edition of our Epilogue series. We got our September Fandom of the Month Club box, which is done by the Geeky Cauldron. And what it is, it's $13 a month, and each month you get a box containing 3 to 4 pieces of jewelry from a different fandom each month. And it's really exciting. It's an awesome and fashionable way to show off your geeky pride. So let's see what September was.
It's Percy Jackson. I so love Percy Jackson. Look at and get like a cute little thing.
I haven't read them yet.
A little print.
Oh, okay. So these magnets are actually done by the Geeky Cauldron's sister over at the Half-Blood Prince. And
This is a little one of Percy.
Percy. Okay, hold on. I don't know what's going on.
And each one comes in a cute little stylish bag.
They're awesome. They're
This
really
one
great.
says, even strength has to bow to wisdom sometimes, and it's Athena's owl. This is the House of Athena. But so
Okay.
she's not
haven't
read
read
the Percy
them yet.
Jackson books. I love
They're
the
on my
Percy
list, I
Jackson books.
promise.
So if you would love for me to introduce you to the Percy Jackson series, please comment below. Please.
Yes, I'll only read them if you guys get me to.
Okay, also in the box before we open this is these little shoe wing things.
I think they're kind of cute.
They're done by
Swings.
oh, Schwings. Yes, Schwings. Schwings. They did a special box with Schwings this week. I remember her saying. And now to open the little baggie. It's a Camp Half-Blood logo. It's a Pegasus necklace
I wish I was in this.
and super cute Camp Half-Blood earrings, which are falling in. Camp Half-Blood earrings, which are so cute.
They are cute. I mean, I know nothing about this fandom, but those are cute.
And also is a cute little trident ring, obviously, for Percy Jackson's dad, Poseidon. Alright, so guys, please subscribe to the Fandom of the Month Club. It is so great. Please
It's
support
definitely worth it.
Erin, who does the Geeky Cauldron. She works so hard on these. So we just want to show her support and love. So thanks, Erin.
Thank you.
Alright, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.